Bendable, but housing is not a panacea. There are far more effective things.
Welcome to Lie of the Land, where I find musicians, writers and artists, and we take a wander through the Shetland landscapes that have inspired their work. This episode takes us to a special place, where a burn winds its way steep-sided to the edge of the banks and falls in a waterfall hundreds of feet down to the Boulder beach. And we'll go there with a man who kens this place very well, to speak about a life shaped by music, by boats and planes, and by Fair Isle. I'm standing at the hill, top of the hill, with
Neil
Thomson. Where are we going, Neil?
You're going to Wastag Yellowburn down into Taftytown.
Okay, and you've got your guitar?
I do have a guitar, yeah.
Okay, let's set off. We're hoping it doesn't rain. I don't think it will.
This stringer post here was set at the height that I can set my Briggs and Stratton binoculars on, and they have proper sun filters. Now, there's a story with them. They're the binoculars that Tim used to pay for an extra week here way back when Anne Cleves was cook in the Birdobs. Tim fell for Anne. I mean, they literally got married and stuff like that. Tim's did know, but he fell for her. He used the boy's money, stayed the extra week again. Didn't they care how to pay for it? Roger Broad was the warden then. Get them and says, "Is there anything I can give thee?" Uh-huh. So he said, "Well, a set of binoculars will do as payment." And it was 26 quid a week at that time. Yeah. But that's how they got together. They met here. Anne Cleves, the author.
At this spot, I hope that would make it even better.
I don't know, Ken. I was just at the Birdobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you sit at the height, and I can watch sunspots with the binoculars, because there's old ex-Navy ones have sun filters on. Makes the eyes safe if you come along the sun. And it was in wartime. It was for looking at aircraft attacking out the sun.
I see.
So,
going over the stile off the main road.
Mm-hmm.
So we started it for your house, Lower Stoneybrack. And can you describe where we are just now?
We're going west to Huckney, and it's in of the houses that's on the west road. And it's just before you come to the Brood of Broy, and that's the Upper Stoneybracker, and then you head the North Crofts, North Langford there, and ain't near that sitter. That's about 3 weeks in difference, because we're about 120 feet above the sea level here, so we can get about 3 weeks difference in the springtime. And I'm seeing me still feeding sheep, and me father actually tied their nut kai, I think, girths. So there you go.
This is your sheep, this park?
No, this was my sheep at Pund. Uh-huh. That's just it's a couple of crofts up our.
So we're looking west, and this is where the cliffs rise up, really, really impressive, like Hoyne and the Reivers. It's kind of an amazing sight.
Yeah, it's this place we're going to. We're going to out to Gelly Burn, and that's a place where I'm seeing Moors crossing the isle here, because they follow the lie to Gelly Burn, and that kind of gains up out land, and then it's kind of lower where the burn gains down within Heswells again, and Moors across our isle here because it means slightly less flapping, so they don't have to gain quite so high to win out the isle.
I did the king that.
So we're going down here into Taffytown, and I mind Alec and Georgie, when they were younger, they were having a fun here. They did sawn it's here, and they got about 60 trave off here each time, and of course they're working with size. And another thing you'll see, if this side of Gelly Burn, there's some terrible steep rigs, and Georgie minds ploughing them with all the olden times with the oxen, and he said the oxen would end up with their feet standeth in the burn. We get this way, and their feet standeth in the burn as they ploughed this terrible steep rigs, and because they're that steep, they could only plough them EY. So it ends up that the good mood was at the bottom. Now you see that a lot of places in the side of hulls, especially at up and on where my father was fae, there was craft on the west side of the Loch of Cliff, and terrible steep land, and you couldn't dale up the way, so you always daled down the way, and you ended up with all the good stuff of the soil down at the bottom of the rig. So
we're just going into the burn here.
This bit the foundations lie here. This is where they had all the waste pipes and that for pond during the wartime. They used to run down here, and all the way for the pond house. They just had them bound along. After the wartime, they just they broke a lot of pipes, but of course they wouldn't want to leave anything. But a lot of the folk took the pipes, and they were reused. The floors are mostly by, we know, but this was all yellowy celandine and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. So this is where the Gelly Burn comes to an end here as a waterfall right on the edge of the cliffs. These really, really dramatic banks here. It's someplace.
There's no more water in it now. When the first of the wet weather comes, then you can get a lot of water in the Gelly Burn here. And this pipes here was where they had a bit of a dam across the mouth of the burn, and the pipes get down and wrote a water wheel, and that was used to charge the batteries in the wartime.
No, so, really?
Yeah.
Kan du både försälas här, pat dig bort till land, kan kosta mig en deputy dun, will he korswards hand in hand, lady heat upon my heart, I know she can fail me. Du trustest day after day to sail to the turn sea. My heart is like the sea it haze, its valency and ape and flower and money, pretty pearls, my love, bides in its dews below.
Fisherlass here, put thy boat to land. Come close to me and up the dune, we'll make Ashworth hand in hand. Lady, upon my hand. I know she can't fear me. Do trust us, day after day we sail to the Tun Sea. We had gazed like the sea at haze, as fair and sweet and hay and flower, and money pretty pearls, my love, I did not used below.
This is where we scattered Mum's ashes.
Really?
Yeah. She loved it here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Gosh, this is a special place then.
Yeah. Oh, hugely. Well, we used to play in here like the whole summer. We would sit in this burn and dam it and play, and like it was just such a fun place to be. Yeah. Will we sit here and have a yarn then for a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, fine dry. Lawn for a mercy.
So you're a man of many trades, Neil. And
They're getting less and less. No, I'm 70 now, and they're getting less and less, I must admit. There's, I'm not surprised. I used to be, that's certainly the way I ought. But I'm still employed as such, and speaking to the planes. I love aircraft. It's funny, I've always can't fly a plane, but you fly an individual plane as per the plane demands. So you basically fly with numbers. They say my claim to fame was 5 hours and 50 minutes on me licence to me solo, and I was telling that somewhat kind of proudly to a man, and he said, "Oh, he was 10 minutes in the Piper Cub, and then slip it." That was a man that was here last year. He was retired, but he had been a navigator in a B-52. So I've been all over the world. So there you go. Now we get all manner of folk here.
well, you spent a lot of your life on the sea, in the Good Shepherd, on the ferry, which you retired for a few years ago. But you've managed to fit in, and you do fit in, a huge amount of music, and that's what we're going to speak about, I suppose, is you've performed and been in bands and written songs yourself.
The band that we kind of hay together is, the band we used to hay was Friedery, and that was kind of folk band. But this last couple of years, before COVID really struck, I was involved in other bands. I was in a band when I was South, too, when I left the school to get South for a start. And then we were in various bands. I was in, as I say, it used to be called the Ramparts. And I mind speaking with Davy Henderson, Wilson Sign, and saying, well, I'm the ram and I can get any perch that wants to come. So that's the Ramparts. And it started, Ennis had just left school, so that'll be, 20 years since I'm plus. We were needing a bass. We had a drummer pedal, we had 2 guitarists, and needed a bass guitarist. When the university was up looking at Lauenberg, for when the archaeology teams, it was the university based, they were looking at Lauenberg, and they had this bass player, and his name was Richard. So Richard, and they were working at Lauenberg, which of course is his Ramparts. Mm-hmm. It was a promontory fort, so it became Richard and the Ramparts. And then, I mean, he was there for that year, and then he left, and we were left without the bass player. Came to the band, disbanded again, you might say, and then we kind of got together again, and the drummer was still here, and we got another bass player. Ian was really good.
What kind of music was this?
Oh, this was kind of like rock music. It's only thing for Cream to Jethro Tull to you name it. And anyway, we played some stuff. We played Albatross, that one. And so we did one or two things. The AC/DC even. We did some music, that's a few years ago. And then we kind of disbanded again. And then for the tall ships we thought we'd better get band together again. So we still didn't have that. His new drummer, this guy that came in at, he was assistant warden at the Bird Observatory, and him and the other assistant warden, he played the guitar. Now the pair of them had never played to the public. The drummer, he had played in the 12 tunes of the White Throw, but the other guitarist and bass player, he hadn't actually played a complete tune in his life. And they were in their early 20s, the pair of them. I said, well, we'll start practicing, and this was about April time. We practiced most of the summer, came the 11th July for this tall ships, and they were still hardly ready, but Innes, Sam Innes, he said, he'll play drums and he'll get his friend to come in and play bass, because what his dad does isn't actually due for going on stage yet. I'll say that's fine. So he came in, he played the drums, and he says, "Don't tell Brian," this is Brian Peterson, "don't tell Brian Peterson that I'm playing drums, because he'll no come." So Brian Peterson. Why? Because Innes was a guitarist. He wasn't a drummer by any means, any fashion whatsoever. So we shall we say, we got Brian to come here under false pretences, and he was looking at me taking my guitar out, and he was looking at the set of drums, and he was looking at Innes, and he said to Innes, "What's the guitar, Innes?" And Innes said, "No, I'm playing drums." And Brian said, "Oh, if I can't, I wouldn't have come."
Stands a boat, but are they gods or real folk? Can't see the fire, but we smell the smoke. Who'll take the plow? Who'll be the yoke? Night after night, I don't believe we are the ones you won't deceive. Not a thing will you achieve, 'cause we belong and we won't leave. Trouble, trouble, I try to chase trouble, but it's chasing me. Trouble, trouble, trouble with a capital T. Lay down your silver and your gold. I'm a man who can't be sold. And even when my heart grows cold, I'll curse your evil stranglehold. The waves are running much too high. It's got so dark, can't see the sky. But a change is coming by and by. A time to laugh, a time to die. Trouble, trouble, I try to chase trouble, but it's chasing me. Trouble, trouble, trouble with a capital T.
We did the tall ships, and it was a really good gig actually. And we played 2 nights, and we played 2 nights of tall ships. And the second night we had Martin Green on the keyboard, because Martin Green fell low. Yeah. And there was a young guy on the trombone, and he was for the Philharmonic Orchestra in Bergen. Mm-hmm. And he was only 17-year-old. But if you can imagine, was playing Johnny Be Good, we had trombone taking the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was superb.
Was that in the hall?
No, this was we set up the P. We had a great muckle tent type thing.
Oh, down at the pier?
Yeah, there's down at North Haven. Yeah. And that different flat bit was made for, because we found out the kind of flat bit that's not by the rod that goes across the bonus. Mm-hmm. That's what the flat bit's for. It was the size of the muckle tent, and we basically had we had Kenny's pickup done, because he was a gale of wind at the first night. We had Kenny's pickup done, and we had actually tied the tent to hut, so at least if it blew away, Kenny's pickup with it. So.
See, I think painting that picture is great, because for a lot of folk who've kind of spent summers in Fair Isle, a lot of their memories will be about music, like folk playing music, dancing, singing, a lot of that going on. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the Tall Ships was quite an event.
Yeah, tall ships were quite an event. We had, there was 23 different ships came here. There was 21 tallings among them, kind of like Aldins, 20. There was a three-master among any of them, but most of them were twin masts. And some of them were modern sort of replicas, but some of them were original ships. They were superb.
So you played for a long time as well with members of your family in the band?
Yeah, I played for 1,000 years, it feels like. Play mostly guitars, and cause our modern fretted instruments, as my son would put it. He actually has made me a guitar. He was wondering what to do, and I said, well, what's so good at? And he wasn't, shall we say, shining at school, but he was always good with his hands. Mm-hmm. So I said to him, well, what does you think you can do? He says, well, only thing with my hands. And he ended up going to the music college down in London. He was making modern fretted instruments. Simplest for Paul Reed Smith guitar. Was no famous for guitar making. But Innes was making various modern fretted instruments. He got word that Jimmy Moon was needing someone to work with him in Glasgow. Jimmy Moon gets the Moon guitars in Glasgow. And so he get along, and Jimmy just built him a lump of wood, says, make me a mandolin neck. So Innes made a mandolin neck, and that was fine. That passed Jimmy's inspection, so that was splendid. So he got a job with Jimmy Moon, and then he started making guitars, other than the kinds of ones that were just to orders. He started making a run of guitars, and my claim to fame was that the guitar he made, we actually drew the lines on our kitchen table as an acoustic, but kind of that my one has a PZO pickup, and my one has a cutaway as well. And my claim to fame is that I insisted that at least they hear a flat bottom, and so that when you stand up a guitar against a long wall, it'll no fall over. Because everybody has seen a guitar fall over to its maybe doom. So that's true. No, there's either 12 famous folk have got Moon guitars. Dougie McLean, he's got a couple, and
he's been here a few times, hasn't he?
He's been here a couple of times, yeah. And that's another story. But Innes was blithe to have made the guitars. But he says Innes is making jewellery now, because he can't meet 20 years inside. He says, Dad, I made over 1,000 guitars, I'm still poor. And I'm saying, well, there's making really good guitars. I mean, you're just no charging enough for them. And he says, I ken that, but Jimmy Moon is our finer guy. He just can charge whatever he charges. Like, I mean, the wood in my guitar cost £250 alone. Yeah. And it's a 1,400 quid guitar. Mm-hmm. But they didn't charge that. Yeah. So anyway, so there you go.
Yeah.
Speaking about guitars.
So you have a very fine guitar case here, which is illustrated with a special character, feral character. Mavi Tongue, which is a character for the Feral Times that you draw every week.
So this is the guitar. It's got mahogany back and sides, and neck, and it's got it's a rosewood fingerboard, and here's a pine top, and it's really well made. It's been 10th of November, year 2000. It was made, and this is it. So anyway, the time that Dougie MacLean came to the Isle, he was... I'd met Dougie MacLean at various folk festivals before that, but in fact, I'd actually met Dougie MacLean the year he was setting up himself. This is going way back. He'd gotten fed up with the contract he had with the recording company and said, I could just do it myself. And so I met him and his wife, and he was going to be a guitar case in a box of LPs, that's the choice of line got was, and she was going with their luggage, what they had, and their Bayern. and that was them. Just, and they were going anywhere the world would take them, or what would hit them, and that was Dougie MacLean just after he set that. And but anyway, he was. This is jump a few years, and he ended up on my pier. No, Friedrich was singing upon this cruise ship.
Friedrich was the band that you guys were in.
Yeah, Friedrich was singing upon this cruise ship. So we were going after this cruise ship, and we get by this folk on the pier, and I said, "You're not like Dougie MacLean." So we get after the boat, and then we heard Dougie MacLean had actually come ashore. So that's fine. So Dougie MacLean was here, and he was biding our night at the Bird Observatory. I got the spick into him about him because I kind of half ken him, and him and his wife had been picked up in Glasgow with this boat that was going on a cruise, going up to Iceland, because whatever. It was a Canadian crew. Dougie had been picked up as the evening's entertainment. The folk were off for the New World that were on board the boat. They had any of them that sang and played the guitar as well. And so he'd said to Dougie, that's fine, you can come and I'll be supporting act. They get ashore for the first night in Stornoway, and Dougie did a concert in Stornoway with this guy supporting, and he was terrible. He was terrible. But Dougie, being new to the boat, this guy being part of the boat's crew, you might say, had leverage, shall we say. Mm-hmm. So anyway, this guy had proceeded then to always be supporting act, this terrible supporting act, for Dougie MacLean's so-called evening entertainment. The atmosphere between them had become somewhat heated.
Strained.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But allegedly, it ended up the night that they were at Papa's Store, on the road home again, it ended up in fisticuffs. So the skipper thought, well, this guitarist and singer I have on the crew is part of the crew. He's Canadian, I'm Canadian, the crew is Canadian. We're going back to Canada. We're in Scotland. Fair Isle is part of Scotland. We're in Scotland. We'll just dump Dougie here. and so he was on the pier, him and his wife, just with other stuff. There they were. So anyway, so that was that. And poor Dougie, they never even took him home. I mean, it's still a great piece of waffy him. I mean, Ferrell's a piece of waffy, the mainland of Scotland. It's a piece of better you're going to Shetland, let alone going to the mainland of Scotland. So anyway, he was here for 2 days, because that was a Sunday. No, that's a Tuesday evening. And the next boat wasn't until the Thursday. It was an electric boat. We took him out. Tuesday night we came ashore again to find that the Bitter Statue was sitting full, because word had gotten round that we were doing a concert, and folk had thought that, so it would just be at the Bitter Statue. It wasn't. It was off in the boat. So anyway, so we did our gig again when we got ashore again, and then we had a special guest, Dougie MacLean.
A very special guest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he actually put on a concert for free the next night. So we had a Dougie MacLean concert.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Sells at the castle these days.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And no, it was superb. Really was superb.
When was this? I'm trying to think what albums of his were it at that point?
Oh, good Canes. He'd done Are You Ready for the Storm?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because I used to listen to Rioff a lot. Mum
Yeah.
played that a lot, and that was Aria.
yeah. No, that was Dougie McLean, gosh. And but anyway, he was very much keen because he plays the fiddle as well, and he was him and Dad were very much an event against meeting Dad and that, and my father of course played the fiddle, so Dougie was wanting to see him, but he was telling us about the guitar. No, he'd travelled across with 12 guitars, flown across to Canada, and he was on stage, and he was speaking to the public, and he was feeling the kind of his the same as this. Has a jack plug at the back of the guitar, and so he was feeling for it, and there was a hole, and the luggage people had shall we say, done their damnedest to break everything as usual, and had broken the guitar. So he had to borrow a guitar for the night, and in his minded on, because in his minded the guitar. I mean, in his had made the guitar anyway, but in his minded the guitar as well, and so he minded for that. And I said to him, because he had a guitar with him, and that was a Moon guitar, and I said, I said, I congratulate you on your choice of guitar. And he said, well, I'd like to keep the local businesses going. And I said that the prototype, which is across yonder, which is this guitar, square bottom,
Yeah.
stands up, there. And he said, oh. And then he came along the house on that Wednesday then to see me other guitar, the Telecaster I had, because he's fond of Telecaster, so I hear a 66 Telecaster, which is pretty good.
You do have some cool guitars, Neil.
I do have, yeah. Really good fun meeting him, yeah. And the father met him this last time he was up.
Yeah.
This is 2022, and he was at the folk festival again, and the father met him, and he was spurring for it, which was awful fine. Yeah.
What does it mean to you, and the kind of creativity and music? How is that tied in with this place?
Well, this is a place where I always think of Alec when I come here, and I always think of the tune that I wrote for Alec in the new boat, because Alec drew the lines for Ferry.
Explain who Alec is.
Alec is I'm speaking with Jen Stute here, and this is Jen Stute's grandfather I'm speaking about. And that was him and his brother Georgie that took all that tray of corn off Tafty Tune, yeah, many moons ago. And I mind Georgie laughing about that. She said they're that much sweat they could sop the sweat after brew. They said. I said there's.
Yeah. You're saying you had a tune that you did.
I had a tune, and this is the song that I wrote for, and I always think of Alec when I sing this song, and it's I don't know, it's very special. The reason I wrote the song was because this is somebody's love for their main thing, you might say, and this is after I'd sung. Basically, from a woman's point of view, the song kind of like thinking about men going after a sea and women being left to work the land. But then I was thinking, oh well, I better redress the balance. I'll have to do it from a man's point of view. So this is a man's first love. This is his boat. Yeah. Find the city again. Who's due this day of wind and rain? I'm come to step the mast, I'm come to mark the strain, thy supple body against time and tide. but do can't as well as me, we talk our life in hand. Every time we grab our lines and leave the land, but there's a harmony that's hard to understand, as rain and trouty. It sings to me even now, I hear it soft and clear. The stars sang o'er the sea, and now it's cost thee dear. Memories I cruise a fade of Wigan, far and near, around the London. But do seen women too, greeting by the air, can't find their men or hand to fight that sair. And do seen brugs come ashore, I dinna ken what's where, as rain and trouty. Do all boat, do for me, to steer me safe and sound and far across the sea. Do shine me sights that the land folk never see, showing me sunsets in a sea of fire. And I thank thee with all my heart, for it is right for me whatever tide or earth. And we'll share the youngins too, they'll play thy part as rain and trouty. Rain and trouty.
Thank you, Neil. I was thinking as you were playing that, a lot of the time in this programme we speak about land. It's called The Lie of the Land. And we speak about landscapes and places. But in a place like this, well, not so Shetland, but especially here, a lot of folks' experiences is actually at sea, and a lot of the kind of things that you mind in the formative times is being in perry boats at sea, and that's been a big part of your life, yeah.
It's certainly been. I mind. I was writing about Fetherland, and there's a song I read about that, and it was about the thrill of the letting the shingle slip your keel, and it's something that I've never lost, that excitement, that feeling. It's something that even with the ferry going down the slip, as soon as the sea comes out and she lifts it, and it's like she becomes alive.
Pack thy boat would fade the land, let the shingle slip thy keel. See the lift come in by Buskey, feeling that thrill like do always will. Tak thy mind would fade a land, while there's only sky and sea. Nay, peace like there's by the ocean, what who can be with who wants to be. Work thy heart to fade the land, house thy shots while bragging hard. Ride this safe in freezing water, just for the lead, aye for the lead. Lost thy orchid low, once lying cold, has Skinton we work and winter, growing too old, just our road.
Turned I back on Federland, cast I in upon the hill, leave this bliss we all had memories,
Asking me still, like they always will.
The perspective that you can have when you're on the water, it shifts everything. It makes you feel very, very different, and you see the place. Well, I think you see the place differently when you've seen it for the sea. Like, especially here, when there's all these banks and cliffs and secret pretty bits and caves and stacks that you just never see when you're on the land.
Very much so. And there's places, healers that you can see for the sea that you have no idea they're there for the land. A healer is like a cave. It's an old word for cave. Because you look down for the land and you brow the banks and you never ken they're there. And there's various healers and banks and there's some of the beaches that you kind of went down for the banks. You actually need to get by the sea, find them. And I was just speaking to Pat, my wife, just yesterday about the grandfather and that stories that he would hear going after, because there wasn't a lamp. It's funny, that's Pat's sister and her man, they're doing a thing in Madeira just on holiday, and they've had a lampet eating competition. There's different kind of lampets than what we get. No, do say, but
Because I can mind you cooking them on
yes.
on the barbecue at the Puffin and giving them to some tourists and saying they were a delicacy.
well, they are a delicacy
Okay.
if you eat them right.
Yeah.
And I mind that there's two tourists that were Chinese tourists, and they had their own chopsticks. Now, chopsticks are made for eating lampets, because I couldn't keep up with them. I was firing them for the barbecue as fast as I could, and they were eating them faster. You can just glipping them, just like dogs. Amazing. But if they get to Pyrenees, about an inch, they're about just our inch and a quarter, something like that. They get to Mucklins, they're about 3 inches close, lying, and they're our tioch. But the Pyrenees, about an inch and a quarter lying. You puts them upon the barbecue. They goes into the puts them upon the barbecue. Puts a touch they can put lager or white wine or something. Just a drop or two. Put them, and until they're bubbling, and then the rate it. It only takes them 2 minutes.
I see.
Yeah, if you cook them, then they gain tioch. But the same taste as oysters. So there it goes.
I believe you. I'll try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's plenty lampets, but I mind the grandfather saying, when they were baiting lines, because they would bait their haddock tubs of lines for 200 yucks to a tub, and they would have 5 or 6 tubs, and so every 2 or 3 horses would hit this 500-600 tubs, and 200. So I mean, there's up to 1,000 yucks. So that's 1,000 lampets. And the idea was to leap the lampets, and you leap at them. You just took them to the boil, and they would slap their shells, and you also fired in a horn for 8 meal to help them. I don't know, put the flavour or something on them. But anyway, the idea was to bait the yuck with a lampet, with a heel lampet, because we'd have got bag enough, and no bust the gut bag. And then, so I would fish just for a tide, and basically they would fire at the 20 lines and again and held them just right again, because it took hours to set 2 or 3 lines like that.
Yeah. There was a lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work. I mind my father tell me about his grandfather, because he can mind his grandfather, and there were some of the inns that would. Look, it's quite literally a row full of doon. And he minds his grandfather setting off on a sixering. My father would have been 2 or 3. And they were away for days at a time. They would gain as far northwest fae Shetland until they could see the hills of fire. There were hundreds and hundreds of miles away fae Shetland. And there they would fish in deep water. They would fish for great muckle ling. And great muckle 6 feet ling. And he says, and I said, gosh, it must have been terrible people hauling it up. He says, no, what would happen? He says, they would get and set the line. I mean, they only set them for 20 times in that lifetime. But they would set them 20 times, and ling would muggy blow themselves trying to win a war for the yuck, this is. And they would muggy blow themselves and fleet up. So it was always a good sign if they had a good catch, because they would see the line fleeting, and there's nothing more heartbroken than tacking up. You'd see the succoot bait coming up. Oh, another empty yuck, another empty yuck, another empty yuck. And there's nothing more heart-killing than that, I can tell you. No, it was a thing, setting lines. And you're in terrible good photograph against the grandfather and Georgie, the granduncle, and of course Wally, and the great-grandfather, we in Tuamuckle halibut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the South Light.
Yeah, so it's something I've never yet seen, is a muckle halibut come in out of the gun law boat.
Mm-hmm.
I've never yet seen that. But I've seen muckle halibut. And
I think it's one of those pictures where they have their fine smocks and berets on.
Yeah, they had, Wally had Langro boots on. And I mind I used to have smock and Langro boots when I was pretty, and they're splendid. They're like putting in a house. But there's lines you didn't need to do anything.
Yeah.
You couldn't, Wally each time caught sheep in it. He caught sheep. I didn't know what he was thinking of. But fancy wearing lang flankers and caught sheep. But he did that. Yeah. So.
Well, we'll wander back soon.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. This guitar case was very new, and it was sold to me by the wife at Highland Music and Lyric, and she sat on the floor and she jumped on it, and she says, "This is the only in I can do this way." Uh-huh. So I said, "Well, I'll buy it."
Yeah,
so
I mean that's a sales tactic.
That's a sales tactic.
Yeah,
that is.
Super.
Yeah.
No, this is a special spot. Do you know, I've got a pentina here that Anne Pryor did. Oh. And when she was at Dobbs and I was at Dobbs, and it was just after Mum had died, and she had gone out with her, well, she was going penting, Ken Anne would go out in her afternoon off, she'd pent, and she forgot to take the pents with her. And so she sat and pented this, but she just used like the earth and the pit. And so it's actually like the painting's made out of Fair Isle.
I see.
And I got it framed and it's on my wall, and it's a beautiful thing to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then we lost her as well, obviously.
Yeah.
A couple of years later.
Out our bracken water, there they go, fade a shelter of woe, toward a fisher taken in the tide, toward the seas are bracken wide.
So good to be back in the banks. Like, I was walking about with Faroese guy the other day, the poet, and he's got kind of fear of heights, which is funny being from Faroe. I know.
Fear?
Yeah,
Fear of heights, my glory.
Yeah, he said it kind of developed in his later age, but yeah, I was just delighted to be in the right place, on the edge of the banks. So down here, Hjötnigo is always a really good place to find stuff.
Oh, never expect you find every single stuff here. It's funny the stuff you find is if you go to Stephen Wilson at Springfield, then the yard there is really good for finding bits of hard with the small stuff or things for making sheep's swirls out of. And here you get the bigger bits of wood and stuff like that coming ashore in Hjötnigo.
Is this where the lifeboat came ashore?
No, the lifeboat had came ashore in Heswells.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. And the father has a story about that because they found Indian tins of blonde fish that the Swedes ate.
Yeah.
And he opened it. And everybody was bjorking it.
Yeah. Some good stuff washed up. Do you mind all that beeswax, the barrels of beeswax that were surely been at sea for a long time, and we made candles and stuff with them?
The beeswax was, there's a story about that too. The ship coming back from America had these wooden barrels of beeswax, and she had charts that were not quite up to date on board, and they had been the Northern Lighthouse Board had actually commissioned another lighthouse, and I think it's in the Pentland Skerries, in the interim when she was across at America. So when she came back going through the Pentland Firth, she saw this lighthouse flashing, and it was a different character. It was 12 flashes, 3 flashes, whatever. It wasn't on their chart, but the guy thought, well, maybe Seeking Lighthouse that he had on his chart, maybe she's changed her character in the meantime. So he steered accordingly and ended up putting the boat ashore. She finally broke up 1982 because we found more lumps of fat came ashore in 82, and there's a lot of the cargo was saved at when she got ashore, like. But that's the last of the beeswax and stuff. Yeah.
Less of a part of life now, I suppose, like using stuff that you find in the shore, because folk have stuff, but also there's obviously fewer shipwrecks and fewer things washing up, just loads of plastic crap.
Yeah, well, there's even plastic stuff that I mind me father had for an oil can. It's a Norwegian plastic tomato sauce bottle, squeezy one, and when plastics first started coming, they were seen as, well, as a godsend. So this squeezy plastic bottle was used as an oil can at Cherva for decades. So there you go. Yeah.
It's kind of poignant when we think about what a godsend it was when it arrived and this sort of magical thing. But it turned out to be having along with other things, such a horrible effect.
Yeah, having a profound effect, a profound negative effect on especially the sea life.
Yeah.
I mean, there's someone I was speaking to 20 years since I knew, but when the birds was saying that Mallymonks tend now to have about 0.3 kilogram of plastic broke within their stomach.
It makes you just want. You just feel sick.
Oh yeah, so it's like everybody you meet going along would be 2 or 3 pounds of plastic in their stomach. Okay?
Yeah. No, I mean, this is a place where you see the impact of what's happening to the natural world. You see it very visibly here because we're just standing in the park here and we can see the sea on 3 sides. Yeah. Everything's here, and you can, well, in life here used to certainly rely a lot on the health of the seabirds and the fish, and
Yeah, we have like this. It's been generations now since anybody Gideon took seabirds, but there was certainly a crop of seabirds eggs. And the thing is, a female auk, she hatches out with far more eggs far more over in there than what she'll ever lay. And you can take the first twa o ony summer, ony spring, and she'll lay again. But if you take the third in, she'll no lay again. But you can take the first twa and still have, you might say, an offspring. That couple will have an offspring that year.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. It's a good example of the way that things were done here in a very balanced way for a very, very long time, with a lot of wisdom about how to do that and how people can coexist with animals here.
Yeah, it was. There's nobody either except Wiz that you might say are at fault of anything against a Groigate, because we've done it to ourselves kind of way, and it's new when you have kind of like the global world, that you have somebody sitting in office some way can say something that can have a profound negative effect on your way of life here, and it's that's not a good thing. But with this global change, this global warming now, there is, shall we say, a change of off of that. Folk are actually recognising now that, because if he works sense, then sense will happen. It's gone are the days of being able to say that somebody else or the anonymous they must do something. Gone are that days. Yeah.
Yeah, we all have a role.
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah.
Well, we're coming back to your house here, which is surrounded by a whole blooming amazing flowers, and you have quite a famous garden.
Well, I say it's Pat's got the green fingers. I just do the donkey work. She do the dialing and stuff.
That's a very fine spot. We come to the end.
No.
Thank you very, very much. You've been listening to Lie of the Land with Jen Stout and my guest Neil Thomson. The music for Lie of the Land is The Quarf Lasses by Joyce Reid and The West Shores of Quarf by Jenna Reid, performed by Filska. Also in this programme you heard Bonnie Fisher Lass for Lisa Sinclair's album Ever Entrancing Was, the words by Peter Jimison. Trouble with a Capital T by Horse Lips, and Neil Thompson's own songs Fairyland, Tinkin and Hello Old Boat.
The news at 7 with Nina Litz.